El Octágono.
Vagner, how you doing?
All right, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Right off the back, I want to ask, because I want to clarify, this fight that you're having on the Fight Time 13 MMA Kings, is it going to be for your title, or is this just a regular fight for
exhibition?
It's an exhibition fight. It's just it's not for the title just yet.
All right, just wanted to clarify because we didn't have the details on that, and we know that you are the champion right now. Obviously, not trying to look past this fight, but when do you think you would be defending that belt?
I think Carla and Howard were thinking mid-year or towards the end of the year, in a worst-case scenario.
Now, obviously, you have this fight coming up first against Cameron Neville. What kind of preparations? How's the training going for this fight? We know how much people admire your groundwork and how people love what you do on the ground. You being incredible when it comes to your transitions and submissions. We had Howard Davis earlier saying how impressed he's been with your groundwork and what he's seen out of you. What kind of preparations have you done for this fight against Cameron?
I work in the MMA aspect. I do, a lot of striking. I work on my Muay Thai with my coach, Raul Llopis. He's a Cuban Muay Thai champion. And, I do a lot of conditioning, at Hit Fitness Warehouse in Fort Lauderdale. So, I work a lot of sparring. I put a lot of sparring time in. And, of course, I work my ground, I never forget that because that's where my bread and butter is. So.
Now, the announcement was that you have signed with Fight Time for a few fights. How have you been with this promotion with Fight Time Promotions? They pride themselves on trying to treat their fighters to the utmost highest possibility that they can. How happy have you been with Fight Time itself and everything that you've been able to do with them?
I'm super happy with Fight Time. They are a great organization. Carla and Howard, who are the owners. Howard Davis, of course, being a gold medalist. He's an athlete himself. He knows how to treat athletes the proper way. He's probably been on the other end of, being in part of events, fights, and you know how people, sometimes some events can treat you not the right way. And I came off fighting from the UFC to fighting at Fight Time, and there was almost no difference, man. Their event is amazing. So I am very very thrilled to be a part of their team and their family, and Howard, I'm happy to represent South Florida, with another win coming up soon.
Yeah, I've talked to Carla off the air, and we've covered their events since the beginning, and like you said, one of their things is that they try to make it feel, I guess, kind of like a family environment. It's like an open door policy. So the fact that they're very proud of you, and obviously they put you up there as one of the MMA kings says a lot. So and this is we told Howard this is one of, if not the most stacked card that they've put together in a while.
Yeah, they got a lot of good fighters on there. Between myself, Rich, and Marcos Pahumpa de Mata, it's some big names, especially from South Florida,
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, a lot of fighters, they do different things for training, whatever. Some of them live in different places, so the altitude comes in play. And Andrea's actually been able to talk to a couple of different fighters, and they say that the weather down here in South Florida is an advantage. Do you consider that an advantage?
I never thought of it that way, but I've never gone anywhere and felt uncomfortable because here, sometimes of the years you could get so uncomfortable that there's no way I've ever been anywhere else that's been comfortable. I mean, I've been to really extreme cold, and that was uncomfortable a little bit, but it wasn't as bad as extreme heat.
And
so, yeah, I think it would be an advantage.
Yeah. What was it? It was Rashad Evans that said that it was
the humidity and the heat.
Yeah,
and everything
it just the fact that you go outside and the sun is shining and everybody's outside.
It
motivates it rather than obviously like being in the cold.
Of course.
Being in
the cold, you don't want to go outside. You want to stay bundled inside.
Yeah.
Here, all year round we have heat, so it makes you want to be active and be training. We got Christmas just passed. Most people are snowed in. We're out here going to the beach.
Yeah, especially now with the the blizzard that's hitting the northeast right now. I would not want to be up there. But obviously as well that we had talked to Howard. The 14th is Valentine's Day. Are you a romantic at heart? You got plans for Valentine's, or it's just another day for you?
I've been married for like 10 years, and I have 2 kids, and my wife and I, we know how this business goes, and this is not the first time I fought on February 15th. This will be the second time I fought February 15th. So she kind of knows how it is. 14th I'm going to be doing all that stuff and getting ready to make weight. It's probably the most uncomfortable day for me. So, we celebrate every day like it's Valentine's Day. So we don't need that day to celebrate it.
Now, obviously, your last fight in Fight Time was against Mike Bruno, and you did something that a few people have tried and have not been able to do for a long time, which is submit Mike Bruno. In that, when you ended that fight with submission, I mean, obviously, we know you're the specialist on the ground. That's your bread and butter, like you said before. I mean, was there any added, I guess, pride into that, being able to submit somebody who a lot of people felt was one of the harder guys to submit?
Yeah, I felt more of it after the fight than I did before.
Yeah,
I thought the submission would come, but it would be harder than it appeared to be. A lot of people were telling me, man, he's a great wrestler. He's hard to move. He's hard. He's got a good base. So I was kind of intimidated a little bit, but it wasn't taking me off my game. I knew if he brought me to the ground, he was going to have to deal with me on the ground, not with him on top of me. A lot of people are, that do fight MMA, they are overwhelmed when they're on their backs, and I don't mind being there. So he put me in a position where it made it comfortable for me, by taking me down, and and then it started making it uncomfortable for him. So I expected to win via submission. I just didn't think it was going to come that fast or that early. I mean, I almost had him tapped at the end of the first round, but I ended up getting in the beginning of the second. So,
yeah, definitely. Now, obviously, we can't wait to see this fight on the 15th in Fight Time 13, MMA Kings against Cameron Neville. Congratulations on getting the belt in Fight Time, man. We can't wait to see you defend it. But first off, we can't wait to see this fight and see what you bring in this fight. And
not to mention, I mean, what better Valentine's Day gift than a victory?
Of course, that's always important. So I definitely have been training a lot. I'm in my best I've ever been. I think my whole career. If people thought I'd look good last time, then I'm definitely better this time. Last time I was actually injured. I had a knee. I tore my knee maybe like 3 weeks out from the fight. I hurt my MCL really bad, and I still went in there, and performed. So, I didn't want to pull out in that fight because, one, Mike was getting on my nerves with some of the things, and two, I really wanted to fight. I hadn't fought in a while, and so I was like, you know what? I get injured all the time. Injuries happen. That's how it is. But this time around, I am right now 100%. I've never been as healthy or as this strong. So, it's going to be a tough night for Cameron.
Have you ever had to deal with that before? So much of the trash talk, like you had to deal with Mike Bruno.
No, what bothered me mostly about that was that I knew him since we were young. I knew him from when I started jiu-jitsu, about 16 years old. I know his brother, his older brother, not Steve. So I knew him. I've met even his dad before. So I didn't understand why he was hating on me. When I was doing well. And, a lot of it got clarified, right before we fought and right after we fought, and I didn't understand his negativity towards me, so, yeah, I was bothered by it. And when I got released from the UFC, that's the guy I want to fight. So, and now I'm done with it. He's a good guy, and I think, I wish the best for him in his career. But, it's not good to live your life in the negative energy, negative light. If you're drawing that negativity towards yourself or towards other people, then you're not gonna do well,
Yeah, definitely. Now, where can people follow you? Fans like to keep up with the fighters that they follow and all that on Twitter, on Facebook, or if you have a website or anywhere where people keep in contact with you.
I'm sorry. I have a school in Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Yeah.
It's my web address for it is Vagner Rocha Martial Arts.com.
Yeah.
So if anybody really wants to get a lot of information, I post videos on there all the time, like instructionals, me teaching position. I film a lot of my classes so people can watch and get an idea. Also, I have a Twitter that I use, but I don't use as much as I should. It's Vagner Rocha, and I also have a Facebook. So Vagner Rocha. Also, you can go on there and find me and then get in contact. If you really want to meet me, I'm always at my gym. I always teach all my classes. So if you really want to come through and introduce yourself or check out the belts from Fight Time or see some of the stuff I have from my UFC fights, you're more than welcome to come through my school.
All right, that's great, Vagner. I really hope the best comes out of this fight for you. We wish you the best in this fight, and we can't wait to see it. We're going to be there. We've been covering Fight Time since the beginning, so we're going to be there making sure that we cover this fight.
Awesome. Afterwards, come through, introduce yourself, man. I would love to meet you guys too, man.
No, definitely will do. Definitely will do, Vagner. Thank you so much for the time, and we'll be talking to you after the fight.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Para estar más informado, visita www.enoctagono.com.